Go, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, Frank. Do it.
Got it.
Do it, Frank. Do it. Come on.
My name is Frank Pogliani. I'm a sensei, 7th degree and black belt in Nisei Goju and American Combat Karate. I started karate, that was a fad at that time, and I had my friends going in it, and from there we started working together, we're all my buddies, and they said, Frank, why don't you join us? So I joined the Goju system in that time, and it was under Chuck Merriman. The Goju means hard and soft. It's a system that was created by Mr. Yamaguchi way back in Japan and was transferred here through Mr. Peter Urban at that time. And we all belonged to Mr. Peter Urban Association through my sensei, which was Chuck Merriman at that time. And I got my black belt, I believe, in 1961. And from there on, we competed at least 5 years in competition. And from there, I think I won like 58 tournaments and, I don't know, second places, maybe like 10. 1971, I was 4th degree, I believe, at that time, and American Combat Karate came as a unit from two different type of martial arts. One was Murukan and one was Goju, and another one was Shotokan. And what happened, we pulled all the top-ranking Kyoshis together, and we said, look, we're going to form something for American combat, for American people, because we were trying to utilize the best parts that we have from each style, combine it, and then make it a concentration of forms and techniques for the modern man, because we're no longer 3'6" or 7. So the American average man is basically, say, 5'7" to 6'3", so we have to accommodate the moves to accommodate the man. You don't have a 100-pound guy flying around and then you have another 250-pound guy flying do the same thing. It doesn't compete. So we combine the martial arts to make fit the individual. It's almost like a synchronized movements for a personal trainer or personal body technique. Each style has different techniques. One technique, like I'm going to say Murukan or Shotokan, have individual inline movements, which is good for one particular type of body. Taekwondo has 90% legs, which is another particular body because they're slender, small, and they look at the distance. They want to keep the man away with their feet, but they're not strong enough or big enough on top to take the full body contact with another person, so they're trying to keep them away. The other thing is that when they do kicks, they become unstable. We found that out by our sizes of American people, that if you're flying in the air, you're becoming a short target to be hit and off balance. Tashimawari is a science of breaking. Breaking starts only to show the excel of power that you develop into the martial arts. We use that instead of using a person. That's obviously, because if we can break a piece of wood, we can penetrate a rib, we can penetrate a solar plexus and hurt the person. So we don't want to do that. So we excel in breaking so we can identify ourselves with what we're doing within the person itself. But hand conditioning starts in the beginning, about when you're ready to break, when your mind is set. But first develop your muscle, like I said. You have to develop your wrist, your hand structure. You're developing your hand structure by pounding or repounding the certain objects. And then you develop your calcium deposits in your knuckles, which is in your first and index finger. And that contacts with your brakes, and that becomes like a bone structure that breaks. You focus your power because your power breaks through the opponent. Or just like a BB going through a window. When you throw the BB through the window, what do you see? The impact is the back side of it, not the front side. And what happens to the backside, it explodes, and the front's got a little bitty hole. So that's speed. Speed is power. Speed with power is only created by the muscle movement that you have. Your hand only moves as fast as your muscle can let it go. And the connection of your hand is also through tendons. Your tendon is basically a fuse between your muscle and your bones. If your bones are strong and the tendons are weak and the muscles are strong, then the delivery of the punch weakens at that point. For you to be strong and a good point of delivery, you have to have a tendon that carries the energy through the delivery of muscle and technique. If either one of those are missing, it's like having a fuse on a 220 box and you have 110 volts. That's it. So you have to develop a total structure. But everything again starts from the ground, through your hips, to your back, to your shoulder, to your muscle and your arm, to extension, to your wrist. The wrist development is it holds the hand in place before it's struck so it doesn't move and it doesn't weaken the blow and the hand does not break, because the strike, the velocity of it, if it's not struck by the two knuckles in front, it will bend the wrist and you totally get a problem with your wrist or you break it. That's it. When I break, it's called tandem breathing, with this almost a self-hypnosis. And I go into that to like 6 or 7 times before I break. And what happens that my body actually elevates from itself and I just see a light. And once I see the light, I can start breaking. Then I don't feel anything. But the problem is with that, again, you have to develop the hand structure and you have to have the tendon straight to carry the blow. Because sometimes if you miss it, then your hand breaks. Or either one of the options are missing. Any one of those particular techniques, like your hand, your bicep, and your tendon, is either one of those at fault or weaker, the hand will break. Something will happen to your system. This is the 3/8 ring bar that we're working right now. I'm working on Chi, which is the inner system that creates power. And I'm transferring it right to my throat. And I'm trying to go ahead and concentrate on the bar first, and then my own body by breathing deep and coming across. And you'll see it when my system locks into almost a front stance. Okay, I'll do that for you right now. Hold it. When I tell you walk toward me, you just keep walking, right?
Yes.
Hi. All stances begin as a basics. The basic becomes a form. They have forms called tokiokas. Those are very simple form that gives you capability of timing, balance, and speed. Now, we develop those as like a foundation of martial arts, and then as we're fighting and we grow with the belts and we have more experience, then we change our own stances to whatever dedicates our body. Some people like a front stance, some people back stance. I prefer catch stance. Catch stance has it's more mobility. It gives you option to go backward or forward, or stalking your opponent, or striking your opponent at a particular time. Quick as a cat now. That's why it's called a catch stance. And you can snap with the front. You can beat the man, his hands with your feet, and his feet with your hands. Catch stance is one of my favorite stances because you have 90-10. 10-90, you're gonna beat the man's hand with your feet by leaning back. It gives you a hip motion that you can thrust forward. So from here, he punches slow, there's your technique. Throw another one. You can see you can beat him in a straight line. Also, you can come off and shift. That gives you mobility of angle fighting off that particular catch stance. And you have capability of using your hands both ways. What I'm talking about is this. He comes in, I step, break, back fist. Okay? Also, you can do a roundhouse from here, back, forward, here, and back to the head. I basically fight defensive What I like to turn is all my blocks. Since I'm experienced at that one time, it takes you a couple of years to get to where I am, like 20. And then what I do, I turn all my blocks into breaks and my breaks into blocks. So basically I break with a block, as I'll demonstrate later, and you'll see how it works. But within 4 or 5 years of your training, you're going to be doing blocking, spindle blocks, inside block, outside blocks technique, and they'll all be taken off from here, from front of your face, because you protect that at all times. Okay, what we're doing with the angle blocking, you divert the man's energy forward, you strike him different direction of the system of his body going, you back fist him, you strike him, elbow, and back. But notice he's facing the opposite way. His hand cannot reach me. And as I can step back, I can break the rear foot. That gives me an advantage of movement, timing and balance. I started breaking back in 87, 88, and then 89 and 90. Then I did a world record in 93, 94, and 95. Each time that I did the world record, I proceeded further and further with the thickness of the block and higher stack of the marble, which increases like by 1 or 2 at a time. I did a couple of shows for Channel 2, Channel 8, Channel 12, ESPN, and so on and so on. But that's just to create and show the people how energy can be transferred from the hand to the foot, to the break. And I don't mean to be boast about myself, but nobody's done it so far. What have I done so far? And that's American Combat Karate. That's what we're good. That's the system. Now I'm doing one more block and break. It will be, I believe next year I'm going to try for 11. So far I hold the record of 10, which is 33.5 inches. We're going to donate some money to the Cancer Society, and we're going to try to get through Channel 12, which we already spoke to, and they will go ahead and get us a sponsor and give us a coverage.